When it does, if you had any discipline before, that goes out the window because you're going to be able to justify anything much better when you're drunk. So, yeah. So, alcohol can be an addiction. Chemical substances can be an addiction. Anything. Pornography, uh, knife collecting. Now, there's a difference between an addiction and obsession. It is an obsession, but I mean, it's different from somebody that's got a clinical, like OCD disorder where they've always got to go in and turn the, turn the handle on this. I don't think this is a chemical imbalance in your head or anything. I just think it's a behavioral issue that all it requires is a little bit of discipline. Now, it may be that, you're on some kind of medication that normally you've got. And this is prescribed medication. I'm not talking about the street drugs, Normally you've got this stuff, but because you can't sleep, I mean, besides getting thoughts of offing yourself or whatever, you now all of a sudden have an addiction to knives or something like this, So it could not be your fault sometimes, even no matter how much you try to do it. So the best thing to do, if it's not out of your normal character, I would say, would be to go to a psychologist or a doctor. Somebody trained to look. I mean, they can tell. If you don't have enough serotonin or whatever it is in your brain, or endorphins going on. There's all kinds of crap that goes on with the human brain, and it could go wrong. Besides like needing an oil change or something. But anyway, beyond the clinical issues, I think most of it is behavioral. It's just you either set unrealistic expectations of yourself, or you just, I don't know. I think you're bullshitting yourself if you think you're controlling it. If you can't stay within a budget. And if you're bullshitting yourself, you're probably bullshitting other people, And so then it's like your character. Do you care about your character? Do you care at all? I don't care what other people think. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, are you happy with yourself and the way you conduct yourself in life? Would you want to be around you if you had a choice, or would you want to be around other people? Really, if there was only, if the end of it came and we're all, like the last one, but you find out you could have one other person. The only problem is it's you. It's a clone of you. It's identically you. Would that be paradise for you? Would you like that? I mean, that's an extreme situation. But I mean, would you be happy with yourself? Me, if it was myself, and we'd have to divide up the world. You go on that side, and I'll go on that side. You do your thing, I do mine. If you get lonely, here's how to communicate, but don't come over. Do not come over. We got the whole world. If you were somebody else other than me, fine, I wouldn't mind it. Anybody, if you're the last one. But yourself, yeah, that'd be very hard to take because you already know how you think and act and what you're gonna do. It would, no, be like having a robot that goes around and mocks you. Remember that? I know you are, but what am I? Or they just mock you. They just repeat everything you say back, and it's so childish. Nah, man, I really would be the last. I'd kill my opposite. You can't say that, on YouTube. I'm just saying this is fictitious, this is theoretical. But I'm just saying that's all I'm saying about character, and integrity. That will prevent you from doing a lot of stupid stuff, like the many YouTubers that have been on here that you thought was a nice person, and it turns out they were scamming everybody. They were lying about things that nobody would normally lie about, putting up GoFundMes, promising things, and never doing it, You can just fill in the blanks of, you know who they are. You've seen them before. I don't have to say their names, Those who shall remain nameless, because they disgrace themselves in front of everybody publicly. I mean, geez, it's bad enough when you disgrace yourself, but when you disgrace yourself in front of the world, oh man, you got to take special credit for that. Geez, talk about putting your foot in your mouth, putting a knife in your mouth. But anyways, yeah, like I said, just realize that it's not, once you go over, it's not like a heroin addiction or anything like that, It's not where you're physically, you have to do it, or if you stop, you will go through withdrawal symptoms if you stop collecting, but it's not life-threatening like it would be with a major drug or something like that. So that's all I'm saying, is you got to get it under control. And if you can't get it under control, you should at least recognize you've got a problem. And if you don't want to recognize that you got a problem, I'm sorry. I can't help you anymore. You are beyond any help that I could have ever. All I was ever offering was advice. This is what I found kind of works for me. It is like an addiction. You'll sit there and you could be a recovering alcoholic or whatever. I never really super got into alcohol, but I understand. But if you get back into that habit of just, I had a really stressful, here you go. You're lying to yourself. You're justifying why you're going to go back into your addiction. You're going to fill in the blank. You're going to justify it. You're going to lie to yourself. And then, bam, you're right back to your same old ways. And did you like your old ways? No, that's why you had a problem. You had a problem because you couldn't control it. So if you can't control it, my suggestion is you really shouldn't do it. You really should just, if you can't go through a phase, whatever phase you set for yourself. I saw a Knife Detector do this, and he did a pretty good job of it. I mean, that was commendable. I think he went 1 whole month without buying a knife. That's when, that's trying to exercise some discipline there. That's a good way to do it. And it's a reality check. You find out, do you have a problem or not? If you can't pass your own parameters test without having to change the parameter. Oh, did I say month? I meant 6 months. Yeah, you didn't hear me right. No, we heard you. You heard yourself. You heard you. You just love the taste of bullshit, I guess, man. It tastes good, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know. I've never eaten, bullshit, but I've been fed it a lot. I've never eaten it. But, I mean, I've swallowed a lot of BS in my life, but not actual bullshit. I'm just saying. Man, that's got a pungent smell, cow manure, man. When you're in cow land. But anyway, that's all I had to say about it. Like I said, I'm no expert. I've gone through this, with more than just a knife situation. Let me put it that way. I've gone through more than a knife addiction in my life. And I came out of that through willpower. I told myself, I started being realistic with myself. You are lying to yourself. Are you happy? Are you really happy with what you're doing? And at what cost? What is the cost of your happiness? Is it destroying your life? Is it destroying people around you? Then how can this be a good thing? And if it's not, why are you doing it? Why? Oh, it's an addiction. It's really hard. Yeah, it is. It is hard. It is hard. I'll give you that. It is hard to fight an addiction. It can be done. It can be done. Many people have done it before you. It's not impossible. And you're not a lesser person because you you had this, you know. You're human, is what it is. You're human. We all have weaknesses. None of us are perfect. A lot of people think they're perfect, but they're not. They're just very good at bullshitting themselves. You know, they've got everybody convinced, including themselves. And if you buy into their bullshit, then be prepared for the ride, is all I'm going to say. Because people that believe their own BS will take you for a wild ride. And some of it you'll believe, but eventually you're going to say, what the hell? I'd like to get back to reality, please. Next stop, reality station. Yeah, this is my stop. See you later. You have fun in your world. So, I know that dragged this one on, but I think it's an important subject. And I know I joke around about things a lot and everything. And hey, I am not perfect. I'll tell you that right now. I am not a perfect person. I'm not a sage or anything like that, you know. It's just me going through life and realizing that a knife addiction is not just bullshit. It's a real thing. And it can get out of hand, you know. And all these things are going to become important because money is important, you know, right now, nowadays, and always will be. And I don't know. I don't want to get off onto that tangent, but I'm just saying, if you can't stay within your budget, then you have a problem. And if you can't admit you have a problem, then you really do have a problem. You just won't admit it. And, ooh, man, that's a difficult one. You're going to need outside intervention for that. And, hey, that's not my job. You know, there are medical professionals for stuff like that. You just need better family members or something to step up. You know, somebody, a friend, somebody to tell you, hey, you know, it's just my 2 cents, but I think you got an issue. I could be wrong, you know. I mean, because once you build up a certain amount, you can sustain this by not buying knives. If that's your thing, you know, like I'm going to trade, then hey, you're still staying within your parameter of how much money you're going to spend, you know. But if you say, I can't make this purchase for this knife unless I pull a little bit out of my special fund, you know. All right, if you replenish that fund and, you know, again, this is you justifying why you went beyond whatever parameter you set. I'm mostly talking about money. I'm not talking about, like, reselling knives, you know, because some people buy a knife for an investment, you know, like they get a hold of 2 GECs instead of 1 or 4 at once, you know, and they, wow, I only need 1, but man, these things double literally in price seconds after they're purchased. That's pretty hard to resist that. That's more money. You could get more knives with that. If that's your character and that's the way you are and you don't think that you're doing a bad thing, I would disagree with you, but who am I? You know, however you make your money, however you do that, it's like, I think it's P.T. Barnum or somebody said there's a sucker born every day, you know? So if you fall for that, that isn't necessarily on the seller. That's you, you know, justifying why you needed to get that knife so bad because of the rarity, because of the name, because fear of missing out, you know, because of status, whatever your reason was, you know, it overwhelmed you to the point where you're bullshitting yourself once again. So there you go. I know this is a long-winded one. I'm going to probably have to break it up into 2 parts just for upload purposes. So I thank you for everyone that finally made it to the end of this. But let me know if you've ever had a problem with knives or if you've got it under control. I commend you. My hat's off to you. But, you know, especially, that's why, one of the reasons why I started this channel was I always liked knives. I always collected them. I also collected other things like guns. You know, I don't have as many of those. And I got into collecting all kinds of stuff. And just, you know, the complete, all the money and time and effort and stuff that goes into that. If you're getting enjoyment throughout it, looks like guns, for example. All the guns that I had, I enjoyed every one of them. I enjoyed them when I had them and everything. But when I let them go, it was bad. Because of what? Because I had to pay rent and electricity. You know, it was down to that. I didn't have any money, you know, left. In my case, it was mortgage, but, you know, I had to pay on the house somehow, or the cops would be knocking at your door and the bank would be, you know, repossessing it. So you got to have a place to live. And I had all these guns and everything. And I started selling them at a loss because I needed the money. Whenever you need the money, you're not going to get the kind of money you need out of the stuff. If you can wait, you know, like an investment, and sell it at, you know, time it, right time, everything. Oh, these are real popular now. They're not. You time it just right. You got enough time, you can make money. But if you don't, you're going to lose money. And if you need money, price is usually, you're not going to give the stuff away, but it's going to become very acceptable to you, considering what the alternatives are, you know. So anyway, there you go. I know this has been a long one. My throat's dry and I've got to talk. I've never talked on a video this much for this long. Usually even lock picking, I'd take a break, you know, and listen to the pins and stuff, but while videoing. But man, anyway, I hope you found this entertaining, or tell me if I'm, you know, full of it. You can do that, you know, or give other people your method. You don't have to be, you don't have to be super specific with it, but you can if you feel it, you know, helps. But yeah, that's my long-winded thought on. I know I've been saying this for like 20 minutes now that I'm finished with this video, but I'm finally finished with this video. Look into the future for the drawing 1,000 subscriber giveaway drawing video, where we give away the case knife and stickers. And if you're in America, I'll be able to probably drop in another knife or so. But if overseas, it's probably going to have to be just you know, case Whittler, bone stag, half Whittler. See, it's only half of a Whittler. We couldn't even afford a whole Whittler. So there you go. I'll show this knife in more detail when I do the video. I'll just make it just about the knife instead of about life. But like I said, again, sometimes I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to talk about things that... this one happened to be on topic, you know, because I think it's a real thing. But sometimes it's knife life. It's all about knives that come into your life and your enjoyment for them. I really, you know, that's the thing. You know, when you're looking at a knife, that you're gonna want it, you know, and you're gonna like it. You say, "Oh man, I know I'm gonna enjoy this knife and everything." And you get it. Here's the, you know, the if this is the new knife phase of the addiction, you get it and you like it, and you carry it and you use it for a while. But either because of the budget or because of what's going on, another knife comes in, and you can't carry, you know, just one knife all the time if you got more than one knife coming in. So you put that one aside sometimes, and you start carrying another knife. And then, you know, for whatever reason, if this is the new knife situation, it's probably because you're doing too much time looking at knife catalog companies. You know, you're spending too much time at Blade HQ or Shepherd Hills, or all of these are good. You know, Smoky. You're spending too much time sitting there looking at them, and the more you look at a knife, the more you're gonna justify why you need it. You're gonna start looking at reviews and looking at other people reviewing that knife, and you're gonna tell yourself, Well, this guy liked it. Let me look at another video. And then you're going to go back and, this is me, you go back and you look at the specifications, and do I have anything that's kind of like that? What do I think about it? And you keep going back and forth, ooh, this is starting to fit all the boxes. It's starting to check all the things, that I like is within my budget, and my justification for, I didn't get this one. Toby sent it to me, but my justification for this would have been I've always wanted a clasp knife, and the Rough Rider ones that were available, not available when I can find them, and they were much more than just marbles. So that would be my justification for this knife. And when I got it, it would feel the collecting. To me, it's like a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. You see the bigger picture that you want. My collecting, I like this particular pattern on this handle. So for this picture to be complete, I need every one of these that they made in this Stoneworks pattern. Every one of them. I don't care if they're available or not. Once it's done, you complete the rare thing of filling in all the pieces of the puzzle. Because sometimes that, it's like an old puzzle. It's been around. It was a 500-piece puzzle when you first got it, but it's really only a 4-something. It's like a 430, or ooh, the worst one is like a 498 or 497. It's just enough pieces to annoy you, and not complete it, but you can get an idea. But it's like, oh man, who lost these pieces? Or they broke, and somebody, you broke them and forgot. Anyway, getting back to knives, that's what I said. It's just it's a collection of things that, for whatever reason, you feel you need more of. And once you fill that niche, once that picture is filled for you, even though they make a bunch of different of these type of knives, if your original objective was to get all the olive wood handle ones they had, you're not going to be satisfied until they, stop making these in olive wood and you've got all the patterns. That can be the justification enough for you. And if you could, like I said, if you can keep it within your financial means, or however you obtain your knives, by reselling other ones, or trading, that's fine. You're not BSing yourself. You're staying within your parameters. But if you get beyond that, that's what I say, you're just going to have an issue. So let's end this one, finally, for once and all. Thank God. It took forever, mate. People have gone to sleep. I think some of them have amnesia. They can't remember what you were talking about originally. All right, hey, enough from Peanut Gallery there. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.